Okay, that's positive. And then let's see what's next. All right, number 8 is what have you learned from writing for and working with teens? Have they given you a different perspective on life?
Uh, wow, yeah, they really have. We have in writing this book, as I said, we involve teens in workshops and we use them to create photographs, but we really got to know them and interview them. And what you guys, teens, you people, I mean you guys, you youngsters have really, really inspired us. What you've done is opened our minds up to your values. And what people have to do is understand the values of your generation and what you want. And you really do, I think, want to be connected with lots of different people, not just your own peers, but connected with people of all ages. You want to be connected to your school, to your community, to the wider world. And that's a great sense of values that to us has really inspired us. And I wrote an article in a blog magazine called Teens Our Next Greatest Generation. And if you, there's the greatest generation of my generation was the World War II generation that came home and built what we have here in America. And I believe that teens in this day and age have the ability and power and promise and potential to be our next greatest generation. First, because of those values I just talked about, but also you can change the world with the click of a button
That's true.
or your Facebook page or your Twitter page or whatever it might be. And what you have at your disposal, I wrote and just said, I wish I was 14 again. There's a
Pretty
movie, right?
nice.
Big. I wish it's big. I wish I could get back into that movie.
Mm,
So that's what you've done for me. Thank you very much,
I
James.
got you. Thank you. And then, how does your writing affect the lives of others? What do you think the importance of your voice as an author carries?
Well, it never really hit home to me. I just thought we'd write a book, it'd be cool, some people would read it, and it would have a positive effect on them. But we kind of all of a sudden, after the first book sold about 50 or 60,000 copies, which was pretty good,
Yeah.
we'd get letters and things for people that say, "Hey, this book really has changed my day or inspired my life." And it sent chills up and down my spine. And I got one email from a woman that said how it changed her life and how she was giving the gift of asset-based thinking to her children. And I just said, wow, man, that just made me feel wonderful. But it's and that thanks was meant much more to me than any book sale. It just I get emotional talking about it. But what I say to you is you can have that same satisfaction when someone says thank you for what you've done on your Facebook page or your Twitter page or your mighty cause that you've adopted. What we encourage teens to do is to find their mighty cause. What is it that really turns them on and gets them inspired to do something? And then use that to inspire others. And once you get those first, second, third, or fourth thank yous that say, hey, thanks, Andrew, for doing this or for pointing that out, it just grows and you'll love it. It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. That's really cool. Like a good way to think of things. There's almost like a snowball effect almost, how it just keeps getting an idea
Yeah,
can get like bigger and bigger as it passes through people.
yeah, and we, all too often in the world today, we see all the crap that's going on, and we see how all the negative stuff goes on. But if you widen the lens and look deeper, you can see all the positive things, and that's where we just have to take some time and train ourselves to do that.
Hmm. And then number 10 is if you weren't doing all the amazing things that you're doing now, what would you do? Like, what did you want to be when you were a kid?
Well, again, I said I don't think I'm doing amazing things. I'm doing things that really intrigued me and interested me, and I liked. But I think I'd probably be doing the same things, but I'd love to be trying it in different parts of the world. I really would love to. I was very fortunate in my last 10 years of my business life to travel a lot I was in 56 countries in 3 years in different
Oh,
places, and just saw the different cultures and how they worked in my business. It's just intriguing. I'd love to go travel the world and do more of that. More of the same, actually. A couple of other things I would like to do. I always wanted to write a country song. Someday I'd
yeah.
like to do that and do it. I can't write, but I can't sing it, but I'd like to write it. And you said, I think part of the question was when I was a kid. And
Yeah.
I tell everybody I was a kid so long ago, I really don't remember what the hell I was.
You remember. I wanted to be a spaceman.
Actually, I always had in my mind at some point, my father was a New York City fireman,
Mhm.
and I always had a little bit of that in me that maybe I would like to have been that. Didn't do that, but my brother became a fireman, and I still have a really great. They're high on my admiration scale, firemen. By the way, there was a study done that I did a tweet about. You know what the most admired profession is in the United around the world in the United States?
What?
A fireman.
Really?
Yeah, doctor's second. How about that?
Wow. That's pretty cool. It's pretty
Yeah,
cool to have that kind of thing in family too.
yeah.
And then let's see. I wanted to be a spaceman, by the way, but we don't need to get into that. Let's see.
Spaceman.
Yeah, you know what the hell?
That's
Awesome.
who knows? That's going to go to brave new worlds, isn't it?
Yeah. Final frontier. All right, question 11. What traits do you need as a producer, as an author, and why do you think these character traits are important?
Well, I think it's a lot of the traits that I talked about in the advertising part of it. But the most important one is you have to be able to communicate, and just like you're doing now, communicate, make eye to eye contact, and I mean that EYE to eye contact, where you really look people in the eye and talk to them. If you want to. If you want to either write to them, you have to be able to do that. If you want to motivate them to do things as a producer, you have to be able to do that. So communication is very, very important. You have to be a good listener. It's something that I've learned, but it took a long time. There's so many times you have a lot of ideas you want to get out, you interrupt people. I think my wife still yells at me for doing that all the time. But you just have to learn how to be a good listener and absorb and be genuinely interested in what people have to say and learn from it. So communicate, listen, and then you got to be able to encourage and motivate. And on one hand, and be a good critic and critiquer on the other hand. The great expression is, a pat on the back is only 6 inches away from the pat on the butt. So you have to learn how to motivate people that way and inspire them. So those are the traits. And then, the other thing that I've found is, especially in the production end of it, you got to be able to deal with and not be shaken by the unexpected.
Mm.
It's amazing what comes out when you're out there shooting with a camera. Like I do an interview series called Back on the Block, where I took celebrities out on the streets that they were born in, in neighborhoods, and then interview them. And they get very emotional because they go back and see their old house, their old stoop, their old playground. And I go prepared for my interview. I get very, very prepared. And then all of a sudden, 50 things come out of the blue, and you have to be prepared to move every different direction. So be prepared to roll with the punches and go with the changes is real important.
Yeah, definitely.